Going live here now. Should be good. All right. Here we are. We are live. All right, so thank you everyone so much for coming to the live stream. We're just going to go ahead and talk about a bunch of different stuff that's going on right now. There's a lot of leaks going around about like RTX 40 series, RDNA 3, a bunch of crazy wild stuff happening. So we got someone in the chat already. Brandon BAJC says, hey. All right. If you are watching this stream right now, go ahead and hit that like button so we can get this out into more people's feeds. No, it's a little late right now, but you know what? Hey, it's 9:15. I think people said they wanted it at 9. That's pretty close. All right. Gareth Evans says, luckily the mining train seems to have left the station, especially for AMD. The cache is a wild card, 512 megabytes of cache. Could be very beneficial for mining. No, 512 megabytes of cache is not going to be great for mining, I don't think. More memory bandwidth will be. It sounds like the next generation cards. Here's something you guys might find interesting. The next generation cards, it sounds like they're not going to have a massive increase in bandwidth. I mean, unless GDDR7 comes out, which I don't think it will. We could be talking about potentially another 320-bit bus with G6X again on the RTX 4080. That's certainly a possibility. Probably slightly higher clocked, but you're not going to be seeing massive memory bandwidth increases coming from the memory itself. It sounds like both the cards are going to be pushing for more cache, at least as far as I'm aware right now. So actually, in terms of mining performance, although the next generation cards are going to see a massive improvement in terms of their gaming performance, I think you'll be kind of safe from the miners next time. Because yes, it will be a little bit better for mining because it's going to have a little bit more memory bandwidth, but it's not going to have like twice as much. If these cards have like twice as much memory bandwidth, which it sounds like they're not from everything that I'm hearing, that would be worrisome. So, interesting stuff here. Let's see, just getting here. What do you need? What do I need? Actually, the only thing I need, if you're asking me, I don't know who you're asking, but the only thing I need, I decided on my channel, I'm thinking, and tell me guys what you think in the comments below. I'm thinking of upgrading my camera from a 1080p 60 frames per second camera, which I'm currently just like, I'm encoding the videos in 4K, but it's actually originally only 1080p. I'm considering going from 1080p to 4K. The only issue with that is 4K 60 frames per second is very expensive right now. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, yeesh, I don't know if I want to drop, you know, a bunch of cash on that right now, but I know it would be good for the channel. But hey, I'll do it this way. If you guys are watching the stream right now, if you want me to upgrade my camera and you do a super chat, I'll tell you this. I'll put every single dollar I get from the super chats that come in directly towards a 4K camera. So if that helps, there you go. So that's how I'll do it. But in any case, let's see. It depends on how your face will look with extra resolution. The main reason, honestly, because, okay, here's the main reasons as to why I think a 4K camera would actually be a good upgrade for my channel. To be honest with you, the first reason would be for B-roll, getting B-roll of products. And then the second reason would be I do everything in 4K when I complete the video, so shooting it in 4K at the beginning would actually improve my workflow. It would actually be faster to create the videos. But it's not necessary, so I'll wait and see. I'll probably, you know, put aside a little bit every now and then once I get, I think I'm going to need like a minimum of $1,200, potentially up to $2,000 for a good mirrorless 4K 60 frames a second camera, which is crazy. So yeah. Yeah, for B-roll. Yeah, that's, yeah, like, just for me right now, like, if I'm just against a background like this, no, it doesn't really matter if I'm shooting in 1080p or 4K. But for the B-roll and for the workflow, it does actually help. And, you know, we're getting to a point here. The channel's growing. I feel like pretty soon here, the move to 4K will be justified. But we'll see. We got a super chat coming in from Ryan Owens. Thank you so much for the $2. He says, get a victory royale in Fortnite. All right. I've actually never played Fortnite. Let's see. What time is it there? It's about 9 o'clock where I'm at right now, so let's see. But with that said, a new iPhone shooting 4K should give you amazing B-roll. Actually, to be honest with you guys, even though the new phones do have good cameras and they do shoot in 4K, it's nowhere near as good as a good mirrorless camera because they don't give you the control. It's really unfortunate. These new cameras that come with these phones, like, they look nice, but you can't control the ISO. You can't control, I think sometimes you can control the shutter speed. You can't really control the f-stop. So there's a lot of different stuff you can't control on a phone. I've tried like a little bit on a phone to see what it's like. It's just not a good replacement. Like, if you're seriously creating videos, if you're doing it for your career, I highly suggest that you do not use a phone camera. It leaves you with not much control. That's the way I see that. Gareth Evans, thank you so much for the £5. He says, your face is fine in 1080, but here's some money regardless. Well, thank you so much for the $5. All right, we're making big headway, guys. We're at $7 to the $1,000 goal. But seriously though, $5, super awesome. Thank you so much. I'll just continue to put money aside, and eventually I'll get to it. So it's not like I don't need to be like upgrading right now. Maybe in a couple months. I'll just keep setting it aside. Let's see. ADR Rush says, you don't need a 4K camera. Most people watch videos on YouTube with their cell phones. And by the way, producing for 4K videos is more rendering time. Well, here's the thing though. I'm already rendering my videos in 4K because YouTube 1080p looks really bad on a big screen. So it helps that I render it in 4K at the end so that you guys get a better image quality overall. But to be honest with you, if I shot and rendered in 4K, not only would the output look better, but I would actually be able to edit my videos quicker because I wouldn't have to, on every single piece of B-roll, resize it back down so that it fits in a 1080p timeline, or resize up my main footage up to 4K, even though it's not. Like, it's kind of a mess. Like, I really need to standardize here, and I'll eventually get to that, so... Eventually, I'll move to a 4K camera. I'll just put like every month a little bit of money aside, and then we'll get to it. We got another super chat coming in from Illinois Gaming. Thank you so much for the $2. He says, will APU be the new budget PC because prices are going up? That's actually a great question. I think it will probably serve as like the new GT 720 / like GT 1030 type of level. I think that's probably what you'll see there. In terms of it like taking over the entry level completely, I don't think you'll see that. I do still think you'll see stuff like a RTX 4050, maybe even a GT 4030 or something like that. But the really older stuff and the Intel integrated graphics probably going to be superseded by stuff like an APU. But even Intel's integrated graphics nowadays are getting a lot better, so that could be an option for some entry-level gamers. And then that way you're not wasting money on a graphics card that you know you're going to upgrade in the future as well. Because if you're someone who's buying a GT 720, unless you're buying it for like just simple desktop use, if you're buying a GT 720 for gaming, it's very, very likely that you're going to be looking to upgrade to at some point, because a GT 720 is it's going to struggle to run a lot of games, and if you start to run newer games, you're going to want to upgrade, and then you've wasted money on a graphics card that you have to flip. And whereas if you just had a CPU with a GPU in it, you don't have to worry about that. So that's the great part. But thank you again so much for the $2. That helps a ton. Then we got another super chat coming in. Thank you guys so much from JViz. Thank you so much for the $9.99. He says, just admit you're secretly planning to switch to OnlyFans and need 4K. Lol, here's $10. Yet we're starting an OnlyFans. You can't have an OnlyFans at 1080p. That's ridiculous. But thank you so much for the $10, and that was a great super chat coming in there. Let's see. Rod Hester says, Paul's hardware looks really sharp. You might hit him up to see what he's using for B-roll. Yeah, I've noticed, although taking a 1080p image and upscaling it to 4K looks fine, it looks good on YouTube, I do notice that shooting in RAW 4K and then working with that and going directly to 4K on YouTube, it does look better, especially on the slow B-roll shots. You can see it's just got a lot more crispness to it. So I feel like we're starting to reach a point here now, over 75,000 subscribers, that the investment will be worth it in the long run. I think it can help bring in new subscribers as well if they see that your quality bar has been raised. It's little stuff like that it does help. We got another super chat coming in from Golden Wolf. Thank you so much for the $10. Thank you guys, everyone, so much tonight. That's super awesome. He says, mining money from a miner/gamer to a gamer/YouTuber, 4K cam upgrade. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, if you're someone who's sitting at home and you've got a graphics card like a 3080, and like, here's the only situation in which I would tell you not to mine. If you are very concerned about the environmental impact, I get it. And in that case, if you don't feel comfortable mining, or you don't want to leave your computer at home because you're worried about it like starting a fire or something and you're not there, that's understandable. I get those concerns, or, you know, but if you're not worried about going to bed and having your computer on overnight, and the small environmental impact that your one computer has doesn't, keep you up at night, might actually be a good idea if while you're not using it, to let it just mine a little bit to help pay for these just insane costs right now. Because like if you get a 3080, I think it's like $5 a day or $6 a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 10 days later that's $60, And then another 10 days later that's 120, then 180. I mean, you could potentially be making nearly $180 a month if it was going nonstop. Obviously, you're not going to, if it's your main computer, you're not going to be having it go nonstop. So maybe, you might make $80, $90 a month off of it. But hey, that goes on until Ethereum hits proof of stake. Might make a few $100s, might help out a little bit there. But let's see. Mining is better than burning dinosaurs, free heating. Yeah, I guess in the winter, it can double as your heating, because if you got something like a 3090, woo, those boys can get hot. His OnlyFans content will be a close-up shot of him and a graphics card, lol. Yeah, just like you're like this, and there's a graphics card right over your crotch, hiding it. Let's see. What 4000 GPU would you recommend when it's coming out? I think this is really interesting. I think we should start talking about the RTX 40 series, because I think people are getting a little bit down about the price. Understandable, because prices are almost certainly going to go up. The reason why is that the amount of people who bought, RTX 3090s for $3,000, 3080s for $2,000, Nvidia and AMD noticed that. They saw that prices are going to go up. The question is, how much? So with an RTX 4090, for example, is it going to be $2,000, $2,500, $3,000? Well, it's going to come down to what's the mining scene looking like when these cards release, and on top of that, what are AMD's prices going to be? Because if AMD comes out with the 7900 XT, and let's say it's $2,500, and they miss their performance target by a little bit, and they're like on par with Nvidia, and they're not beating them, you'd probably see a $3,000 4090. If AMD's aggressive and they beat Nvidia, you might see them dropping in at $2,000 or less, at which point I would expect the 4090 to be, again, around $2,000, potentially even less. But as you can expect, yes, prices are going to go up. In a best case scenario, for example, with the RTX 4080, best case scenario, I would expect it to be around $800. And that's a best case scenario. That's if mining goes away completely, to the extent of, like, not completely, but to the extent where they're just not buying video cards anymore. And then on top of that, AMD's very, very aggressive. You might see $800 for a 4080. If in a worst case scenario, you might see something around $1,200 for a 4080. That would be rough. So with that said, prices are going up. Yes, that sucks. But we do have to keep in mind that we're going to be talking about the biggest uplift in gaming performance possibly in history. We could be talking about on par, like back when we went from the old design of the GeForce GPUs to programmable shaders. It could be something like that. We could be talking about like double performance gains potentially. I think they're going to miss those targets by a little bit. I think they're going to go on stage. Nvidia's going to show you an RTX 4080, and they're going to talk about how it's over twice as fast as an RTX 3080. But then when reviewers get it, you're going to see it fall short of that twice as fast by a little bit. I think you're going to see somewhere between 70 and 80% faster than an RTX 3080. That's about roughly, based on everything I know about these cards, that's roughly where I would expect it to land. With that being the case, if the RTX 4080 is about 80% faster, well, if all the cards fall in line of being around 80% faster, anywhere near that, even if the prices go up, if you're someone who bought a 3080, let's say you're lucky and you got a 3080 for $700. Well, if they bring in a 4070 at $700 or even $800, but it's going to be, well, let's say if it's 80% faster, it's going to be over 50% faster than a 3080. Well, unfortunately, yes, it sucks that prices are going up, but now instead of you being a 80 class buyer, you're a 70 class buyer in the next gen, which sounds bad, but, and in the future, it could be bad if their gains stagnate. But if the gains are really high, you're talking about a similar performance jump that you got from a 2080 to a 3080, going from a 3080 to a 4070 for roughly the same price. So your upgrade option, I think, should still be roughly the same price for the same performance jump. Like if you're a 2080 owner right now, like back before the 3080 launch and a 3080 came out, you're looking at a 3080 and you're going to get a 50% performance jump or whatever, somewhere around there. Right now, if you're a 3080 owner, you might be looking at a 4070. Once again, you're going to spend around that $700. Again, that same price point, and you're going to get that same 50% jump, like a huge jump in performance still for the same price. So I know that it's frustrating that prices are going up, but we do have to keep in mind that it is still going to give you a large performance increase at the same price point. So you just got to keep that in mind. So it's going to be very exciting either way. Yes, I wish you could get double the amount at the same price point, but that might just be a little bit unrealistic. I think they're going to push prices really high on their top SKUs, and they won't be quite as bad on the mid-tier SKUs and down, because I do think you will see much better supply next time around as well. So that's good news for you guys. If you're looking for an upgrade and you're worried about price, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think you'll be able to spend the same amount of money that you spent on your current card and get another massive performance increase. And at the end of the day, you know, they can call these GPUs whatever they want as long as they keep giving you massive gains at the same price point. That's what matters. So that's good. That's good. Let's see. We got people talking in the chat here. Don Draper says TSMC and Samsung are not charging AMD and Nvidia an extra 20%. For instance, TSMC is charging everyone else an extra 20%, AMD an extra 5%, and 3% for Apple. The way I see, like, the way I know it works right now, is if you have a contract if you already had a contract with TSMC, you would negotiate with them a potential price increase if they had it in the contract that they could raise the prices. It may be that they can't raise the prices on pre-existing contracts. That's possible. But if they can raise the price on pre-existing contracts for Nvidia and AMD, they would negotiate it with them. So you're not going to see like a 20% increase in price for wafers for Nvidia and AMD. You just wouldn't see that. That's way too high. Now, if AMD and Nvidia went to TSMC and they said, I want more than our contract states, then TSMC could hit them with like the 10% increase, no problem. They could be like, oh, you want spot pricing? Well, our spot pricing has gone up 10% for 7 nanometer and 5 nanometer, whatever they're going to use. So that's the way that's going to work. So when you see headlines of people freaking out about a 20% increase in cost of GPUs, it's not how it works at all. Not even close. You would probably see a 5% increase in the cost of the GPU on the graphics card that they're going to sell to you. So what does that come out to? Well, it depends on how much the GPU costs. I think in a worst case scenario, maybe a single GPU at worst could cost like $100. That's very expensive. So if they get 5% increased cost on that, you're talking about a $5 increase to the total graphics card price. Now, at the end of the line, when it finally reaches you, maybe that $5 turns into $10 or $15. But we're not talking about suddenly a $7 or $1,000 card becomes $1,200. No, a $1,000 card would be like $1,020 at worst. So if they charge more than that after a slight increase in wafer price hits the GPU, they're just ripping you off. And any excuse they come up with is just that. It's an excuse. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about like wafer prices increasing. People are freaking out way too much about that. Let's see. Any news about 2060 12GB or 3050/3050 Ti desktop? I got bad news for you for the 3050. You may never see it on desktop, and that sucks. You may seriously never see the 3050 on desktop, and the reason why is because they're allocating all of those wafers to what they see as more important, which is the laptop. The only way you will see it hit the desktop is if basically mining goes away. If mining goes away and there's enough time between the 30 series and the 40 series still left, yes, they will release the 50 series for 30. But as of right now, it's looking like you may never get a 3050 or 3050 Ti. Not on the desktop anyway. So that's a shame, but that's how it is. Shin-Chan says, after not being able to buy any GPU, I've decided to get a PS5/Xbox for gaming and rely on APUs for PC. Is that a good option, or a high-end PC is always superior? In my opinion, a high-end PC will always give you a better experience overall. But realistically, I mean, if you're thinking about spending $2,000-$3,000 on a graphics card just to have a little bit better performance, well, in a 3090 is a lot of bit better performance. But let's say you're considering spending over $1,000 for a 3070. Well, a 3070 is not going to be a lot faster than an Xbox Series X. It's faster, but it's not like way faster. It's like, I don't know, 25-30% maybe, which is significant, but it's not going to blow you away. So the better choice, genuinely, if you don't care that most of the games you have to play would have to be on controller. If you're just wanting to play games, it might be a good idea to make do with a desktop GPU or a desktop without a really strong GPU, and then use your console for gaming for a while until you can happen to find a good graphics card. So you could do something like that. Let's see. Newegg combo 6600 XT with Steel 550 motherboard, $700. No, thank you. Yeah. And you know what? To be honest with you, I wouldn't even take a 6600 XT at $380 on its own. I just wouldn't. I'll buy a 6600 XT for $300. That's the most I will pay for that card ever. So that's my opinion on that. I hate that card. I think it's insulting the price that they brought it in. It's so bad that I almost am not sure if they should have even released it. Like, I really hate that card. Newegg Shuffle is 95% scam, DJ Mine says. Yeah, there's not a lot of good deals on there, let me tell you. There are not a lot of good deals on the Newegg Shuffle. Can we pair 4000 series GPU to Ryzen 5 5600X? Yes. Yes, you can. You absolutely will be able to do that. And by the way, if there's a bunch of new viewers here, just so you guys know what the heck is going on here, all the super chats that we do tonight are going to go towards a 4K upgrade to the channel. So yes, I do upload my videos in 4K, but I shoot them in 1080p. It does affect the quality, and it makes it longer for me to actually edit and render the videos. So if you do a super chat tonight, that's what it's going towards. The goal is pretty lofty. The goal is $1,000. That's really high. So I don't expect us to hit $1,000, but we're at $30 right now. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Let me tell you that much. Whatever we don't hit, I'll just eventually make up for. Because yeah, that camera, I think it's gonna cost me like $2,000. I think I think I'm going to end up having to spend $2,000 on a camera. And so that might be something where I put away like $500 a month or something towards that, and we eventually get there. Because, oh man, it is a business expense at least, so I can write it off on my taxes. That's nice. But I think we're reaching a size here on the channel now where a 4K upgrade would help. Let's see, what camera? I haven't nailed down a specific brand, but the few that I've looked at that I like, I'm looking at a mirrorless, like full-sized mirrorless 4K 60 frames per second camera. The good ones they're around $2,000. It's outrageous. So that's what we're doing. Let's see. George Mitchell says, congrats on 75K. Well, thank you. Will the 3090 be more expensive than the 4080 scalping wise? I don't think you're going to see a lot of scalping by the time the 40 series launches, to be honest with you. When the 40 series launches, like right away, there will be people reselling them on, places like eBay, because it just happens with every new tech launch. Even like for a long time, this has been going on for like the first couple weeks or something. For those people who cannot wait, that happens. But that's after a couple weeks or a month. I don't think you're going to see anywhere near the amount of problems you're seeing now. So that's what it's. Get that B&H photo sponsor. Yeah, I don't think they would send me a $2,000 camera. The only places that'll do crazy stuff like that is people who want me to make a whole video review. And I'm like, guys, you don't get it. Like, my audience doesn't want to watch me do a full video review of this product. That's not why they're subscribed. So no, I can't. I turn down like 90% of the offers I get, because they're always like, I want a full video review. I'm like, no, that's not my content. Like, that's not how it works. Do you really think that in December it will be easier to get a card? Yeah, I think so. I think you'll have an easier time by then. At least they'll be cheaper, I would expect. But we'll see what happens. Need to hit that water, baby. All right. Okay, so there are no 2060, just like 1080 was fake news. Think about it. This is Ampere run and before. I don't even know what you're talking about. This guy's really... I don't know what you're talking about. Morton1210 says, hello, graphically challenged, and everyone in the chat. Well, hello. Bro, what's the price of 3060 in your country? It's like $500. It's a little ridiculous. It's like, I definitely wouldn't do that. All right, we got another super chat coming in from Dean Bouchard. Thank you so much for the $5. Super awesome. He says, love hearing your insight into graphics cards. Well, thank you again for the $5. We are now up to $35. Woo! You know, let's make a little... Let's be a little more reasonable with our goal towards the camera here. During one stream, I don't think we're gonna hit $1,000. That's a little lofty of a goal. Let's shoot for $100. So we are 35% of the way to our goal. There we go. That's some huge progress, guys. But thank you so much for the $5. Every single one helps a ton. And honestly, guys, yeah, you don't need to do any of that if you don't want to. Just watching my videos and liking them and commenting them, that helps a ton. That's just super awesome. And I'm just glad you guys are here talking tech with me, baby. Let's see. Thanks for liking my comment on the previous video. I don't remember what that was. I get so many comments, man. I try and look in the comments as I like post a video for a while. But it's like, it's so hard to keep up with. It's so hard. Let's see. 3070s on eBay are becoming the price of a 2080 Ti MSRP. Let's go. Yeah, they've been that way for a while. The 3060 Ti has dropped a lot, so that's good. Let's Let's see. If it comes to ease of access versus price, which is better at this point? 3080, 3080 Ti, or 6900 XT? I guess 3080 or 3080 Ti. It depends on the price they are. 6900 XT is still really expensive, and I don't know why. Probably because it's the best mining card at the moment that's not hash rate limited. Let's see. Do you know how much you earn from people who have YouTube Red? It's a little bit, but it's like, considering that I'm a smaller channel, it's not like a lot. It's not a lot. Yo, this camera is really awesome. I would recommend. I don't. And he didn't say what camera it was. Let's see. Hello, Graphically Challenged. What gave you the idea to give GPU insights every day? Well, I don't do it every day. I do it 4 times a week. I think any more than that would be a little much. But I don't know. I remember a long time ago, I was like trying to make gaming videos, and I was like, I don't like doing this. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, I want to make tech videos. So that's how it started. Canon EOS M50 mirrorless. Yep, that is literally the camera I'm using. The EOS M50 mirrorless. It's a great camera. But I think it's a great camera if you want to shoot in 1080p. It does not shoot in 4K. Like, you can shoot 4K, but it's 24 frames a second. You guys don't want to watch 24 frames a second. Nobody wants to watch that. So I'm trying to do 4K 60 because I just feel like 60 frames a second is the new standard. Everyone needs to be shooting it. That's my opinion on that. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments here. Do you think it's better to shoot at 60 or 30 frames a second? I'd love to see what you guys think. All movies are 24 frames per second? No, not all movies. Basically, all the older movies were, for sure. But yeah, movies are fine at 24 frames a second. I prefer them at 30, but they're definitely viewable at 24. And the only reason the 24 frames per second standard actually exists, to be honest with you guys, is because it was determined to be the minimum rate that looks like there's good motion. 60, 120 is ideal, 60. So basically everyone's saying 60, yeah. Shrek says 69 frames per second, as usual. Looks like we got Shrek back in the chat, and a usual during the live streams. He's back, baby. 60 gives the option to adjust. It does. You're not wrong on that. Let's see. 60,000. All right. That might be a little outside my budget. That might be that might be a little outside the budget. Let's see, 60 FPS, 100%, but my metric has always been, can the cam do 60 FPS? Yep. Let's see. I just took my RTX 2060 for 3D work. It's like $750 in India. What do you think about 2060? 2060 is a good card. Shrek says, Saturday, baby. Woo! Saturday, baby. All right, we got another super chat coming in here. Thank you so much, Toxic and Noxic, for the $5. He says, what GPU gen would 100 or 120 FPS be the standard? I feel like our current generation hits that, like at every mark. I feel like 3060, 1080p, 120 frames per second, basically every game. 3070, 1440p, 120 frames per second, basically every game. 3090, 4K, 120 frames per second with a few adjustments, pretty much every game. Other than the super, super hard to run ones, there's a couple out there that if you run like ultra settings, there's just no way. But yeah, I feel like our gen right now finally hit that. They're very, very powerful cards. But thank you so much again for the $5. We are now 40% of our way to the goal, baby. Woo! Saturday, baby. I was going to say no work tomorrow, but then I was like, no, I got to work tomorrow. Which card would you buy right now if I could have them at MSRP? 3080 or 3060 Ti. I think AMD went too high on their MSRPs, but guess it worked out for them. Shrek says, I'm hype. And then we got Justin Vicars back in the chat. Awesome. Let's see. You know what? I forgot to tell my I forgot to tell the Discord that we're live. Let me tell the Discord that we're live here. Let me go do that real quick. All right. We are live. By the way, if you guys want to talk about anything else other than next generation cards, let me know. Let me know what topics you'd like to talk about, and we can do that as well. We got another super chat coming in from Toxic Noxic again. Thank you so much for the $5 once again. He says, I meant the minimum as if it went below. If it went below, you would rip it out of your system and burn it alive, or it would be considered as a bad card. Let's see. Hold on. Let me read your last super chat again. What GPU gen would 100 or 120 FPS be standard? If it went below, you'd rip out your system and burn it alive. It'd be considered a bad card? Huh. I'm not quite entirely sure what you're getting at. I mean, personally for me, 120 frames per second, I definitely want to hit that in every game if I can. That's definitely the goal. 60 is like a bare minimum for me. I just no longer want to play games below 60 frames per second. It's not a great experience while gaming to play at 30. It's just not. It's very choppy and very high input lag. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think basically every card in the new generation can do that sort of frame rate. You need to target the right resolution. So hopefully I answered your question. I'm not sure if I did, but hopefully I did. But thank you again for the $5. We are now 45% of the way to our goal, baby. Woo! Woo, baby! All right. Hey, GC, good evening. Well, good evening, Brago. All right. And then we got another super chat coming in here from Toxic Noxic. Thank you so much for the $10. Awesome. Helps a ton. Thank you, everyone, so much for the super chats tonight. He says, as if we treated 60 FPS as 120 FPS. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. I see what you're getting at now. So you're saying, at what point are we going to get to, like, where, because I remember, like, probably during, like, the 10 series, we were talking about if you can't get a minimum of 60, it's like, don't buy it, basically. And so now you're asking, when's that going to be 120? I'd say now. I think just this generation, like I mentioned earlier, I don't see anyone. I mean, if you're on a budget, yeah, people say 60 frames per second minimum still. But it seems like everyone's really embraced high refresh rate gaming now. I think the new consoles helped push that. And it seems like everyone really is pushing for 120 frames per second now. That seems to be the new standard. So, and I agree. I think if you can get all games at 120, there's pretty diminishing returns above 120. You do get improvements. The latency does go down. It's better to get over 120. But it's not going to be like mind-blowing, you know? So for me, 120 is a great target. And I think if you can't get 120, I'd prefer to lower my settings. I really think it's important to get 120 frames per second on all games. I think that's a really good goal. If you're playing on a controller and it's a slower game, that's fine. Or if it's like an RTS, it's fine. But everything just feels better at 120. But thank you again so much for the $10. We actually got another super chat coming in here from the Real Blue Nation. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, why not a 3090 instead of a 3060? 3090 instead of 3060? I don't know. They're both not like a great MSRP. Like the 3090 at $1,500 is very expensive. The 3060 at $330 is very expensive as well. I really don't like either of their MSRPs. I wish the 3060 was $280. I wish the 3090 was $1,000. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I don't know which, like, there's such different cards that, I mean, if you're looking at a 3090, you're probably not considering a 3060. And if you're looking at a 3060, you're probably not considering a 3090. That's all I can really say about that. But thank you again for the $5. We are actually now 60% of our way to the goal, baby. We're up to $60 out of the 100. So we're making our way. That new camera's coming, baby. Woo! But seriously, thank you everyone so much. Let's see. Raycon Woo, that's a great name. Raycon Woo says, controllers are for console plebs. All right. It depends on what game you're playing. There's a couple. I very rarely use a controller, but there's a couple. There's a couple where I've used a controller and it's like, yeah, I prefer this, like Dark Souls. But for the most part, yeah, I wouldn't recommend controller for most people. We got another super chat coming in from JViz. Thank you so much for the $10. He says, throwing $1 on the stage, what monitor do you have? What software do you edit your videos in? What games do you play most often? Those are actually some great questions. That was a good use, my sir. All right, so what monitor do I have? I'm actually using the LG OLED C1. I bought the LG OLED C10 downstairs for our main TV because we were moving into a new place and we needed a new TV. And I decided to, shell out for that. And I used it for a little bit and I loved it so much. It made my monitor look bad. So I bought the newer version, the C1, which is the 2021 model. And I bought the 48-inch version of that. It's about as big as I could possibly handle in a display. Any bigger than 48 inches, there's no way I could deal with that. 48 inches is the limit, and I'd like to see a 42-inch version. Realistically, I'd actually like to see a 32 or 36-inch version, but 48's as small as it gets right now. But this is the best display I've ever used. It's incredible. Just the color that it gives you, the input latency, the gray to gray response times, it's just an absolutely incredible display. What software do I edit my videos in? I use Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Photoshop as well. I actually get like a big discount on it. So that's why I do that. It's just like once you get into the ecosystem, you can't get out. And this is what games do you play most often. I recently actually beat the game, that mod for Skyrim, Enderall. Actually fantastic. Kind of actually liked it better than Skyrim. So I just beat that, but I play a lot of Apex with my friends. So that's what I do a lot as well. Then we got another super chat from Vitaly Lazau. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, go with 30 FPS, 60 takes twice more to edit, harder internet traffic, and your static videos do not need 60 frames per second. I'm actually going to disagree with you there. 60 frames per second actually doesn't take twice as long to render, and I'll let you in on a secret. My videos render in like 6 to 10 minutes. So rendering time is not a concern. It renders really fast. It's when you're working on a video, how quickly can you get it done? That's what matters to me. That's a big, big concern. So for me, moving to a 4K from beginning to end would actually make the workflow faster, even if the render time goes up slightly, probably like a minute. And the reason for that is because instead of resizing all of my 4K and 1080p to one size all the time, it's all just 4K from beginning to end, and I don't have to screw with it at all. So that's why 4K is nice. As for 60 frames per second, personally, I do think there is a huge benefit, even in videos where there's not a lot of motion, going from 30 to 60 frames per second. At first, it's not really a big deal, but once you get used to it, you really don't want to go back. So that's my opinion on that. I think 4K 60 native is like, if you're going to be a professional, if you're doing this for your job, I think that should probably be the new standard. I know there's some people who are stuck on 24 frames a second for some reason. They say it looks more cinematic. I think that's just because they're used to looking at 24 frames per second. Because for me, I look back at movies at 24 frames per second, I'm like, yeesh, I really wish that was at least 30, at least 30, and I'd love to see 60. But either way, thank you so much for the $5. Is every little bit is super helpful. And then we got another super chat coming in from William. Thank you so much for the $5. Thank you everyone so much tonight. He says, live stream GTA 4, please. Is there something going on, or are you just like, you want me to buy GTA 4 and live stream playing it? I've considered like doing events for live streams, or like getting people on my live stream and talking to them. I might start doing that. If I'm going to bring this back weekly, because I've kind of started doing it every 2 weeks now, simply because there's been less news. If I start doing it weekly again, I might start like scheduling stuff, like events. So I might do something like that. But thank you so much for the $5. We are actually now 80% to our goal, baby. We are down. We're up to $79.44. Epic. So thank you everyone so much tonight. Let's see. What do we got here? Do you think the 4090 will be able to run Kingdom Come Deliverance with on Ultra with RTX? Probably. The big problem with Kingdom Come Deliverance is actually how CPU intensive it is. It needs a little work on the CPU side to make it use the CPU more effectively, I think. Intel will capitalize on AMD, Pineapple says. In what way? Are you talking about the GPU side? Justin Vickers is laughing about fair pricing. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Do you think we could see fair prices for the 12 gigabyte 2060s? No. I mean, maybe $300 or $280, which is too expensive, but it's like, I would say that's not really fair, but at the same time, it's the best you're going to get. So it's better than potentially buying a 3060 maybe. So hopefully that answers that. And we got another super chat coming in from Toxic Noxic. Thank you so much for the $20. He says, I have 5 types of diarrhea and 17 types of diabetes. Stinky, fart, poop, funny. All right. That's something else. All right. You might want to see a doctor about that one. Yep. That's something's going wrong there. Wow. But thank you so much for the $20. That is super awesome. Huge thank you for that one. And we are actually now 99.5% of the way to the goal. So thank you everyone so much tonight. We are making good progress, baby. Woo! That was a classic comment, man, says David Collins. Shrek says Toxic Noxic might be onto something. Yeah. You might want to try some fiber. And we got another super chat coming in from Edgy Bloke. He's figured out how to get really heinous stuff into YouTube without it getting pulled down immediately. He says, Grandma's deep, dark, sweaty abyss. Because, yep, every single one of those words is not demonetized on YouTube. So there you go. Thank you for the $5. And we have surpassed our goal, baby. We're at 104. That is awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much tonight. We broke our goal, baby. Woo! So now we just have the long time goal. We just have the, we're actually over 10% to the long-term goal of upgrading the camera. So that's pretty good. That's pretty nice. Yep. Whoa. Shrek says, let's go. Yeah. Pineapple says Nvidia's in huge trouble. They could be. Isn't the 2060 memory bandwidth too narrow for 12 gigabyte speed? No. That's, to be honest with you, that's not necessarily how it works. You can add as much memory as you want. It'll help, but it's like, yeah, at a certain point, it's kind of silly. So, let's see. Edgy Bloke says, let me feel your dark, deep abyss. All right. This chat's already going off the rails. It's off the rails now. We've reached rock bottom. Yeah, we've really reached rock bottom. Just 10 more live streams to the main goal. Yep. That's not too far off. Not too far off. Release dates, Gareth Evans says, if you guys want to talk about the release dates for the RTX 40 series and RDNA 3, We're talking somewhere between Q3 and Q4 of 2022, it's sounding like. So it could be about a year away at this point. There's a possibility that Nvidia could try and beat AMD to the punch and release in Q2 of 2022. It's certainly possible. I think it's going to depend on a lot of factors. So we'll see what happens there. But realistically, I would expect Q3, Q4 at this point. That could change, but we'll see. So yeah, we're talking about a year from now, which sounds like a long time, but it goes fast, guys. And the older you get, the faster it goes. Let me tell you that much. PC will only be for the rich soon. No, I mean, these companies aren't, I mean, especially Nvidia. Nvidia's not dumb. They know that they need to cater to the gaming community. They've made some mistakes recently, but I think they're going to figure it out. They're going to be able to make cards for you. For everyone. They'll have enough. It's just been a rough generation. It's just how it is. Let's see. No, they ain't, Can of Beans says. All right. JViz says, do you think a 14-inch 720p CRT monitor is still adequate for gaming? I think that's too low of a resolution, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're in a super budget machine, I'd prefer it to an LCD. But I think that resolution's a bit too low. I think it'll give you some eye strain and stuff. You'll be too used to 1080p and 1440p and 4K. So that's my opinion on that one. And then we got another super chat coming in from Edgy Bloke. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, "Can I get?" No way. How are these? How is that even allowed on YouTube? Can I get a hog job in the bog of eternal stench? Well, all right. Oh, Javis says that was a joke. Hey, here's the good news here. We're getting even closer to our goal. We're at 110 now. So there you go. We smashed our goal this time. I love how YouTube intros are getting more and more ridiculous. It's like, hey guys, smash that like button. Destroy that like button. Just like, slap that like button, guys. So if you guys are watching this stream right now, make sure that you clap that like button. You really abuse the bejesus out of that like button. I mean, I want to see that like button crying. I want to see it bandaged. I don't even want it to look the same. That's what I'm saying. Clap those cheeks. Yeah. Oh, you know what I need to get? I need to get a stream deck so I can start playing sound bites. I need to play a bunch of sound bites. That's what I need. The bog. Uh-oh, we're starting the B meme already. Things are really getting off the rails. But, let's see. Someone's talking about the Aorus FV43U. Honestly, I don't recommend that one. That's my opinion on that. Oh, we got a lot of Chinese in the chat here. I don't know if I can't read that. Potato bips. Yeah, we're already getting way off the rails. Things are getting off the rails, man. GPUs seem to be sitting on shelves now. Yeah, there's a lot of overpriced ones, that's for sure. Likes on this live stream equals number of gamers that find next-gen GPU at MSRP. That's right. That's right. That's provable. It's absolutely provable. Let's see here. Talk about the 3080 Ti Eagle. Oh, do you want to talk about your graphics card? My buddy's graphics card, he was playing Halo with it, and it just, his whole computer shut off, and the fan started going really loud, and then he was having trouble turning his computer back on. So, sounds like there's either a problem with the graphics card or power supply. Let's see. 1660 Supers are selling out at like $500. That's outrageous. This is outrageous. This is unfair. Let's see, 12900K or 5950X. I'm going to be swapping from a 5950X to a 12900K specifically so that I can get DDR5. Not necessarily because it's going to be a lot faster, just because there'll be a lot of content options there. You should make fan curve videos. You know, I would do stuff like that, but people just aren't interested. You know, it's a much smaller, and so for me, I can't make videos that are going to do a lot worse. It's going to hurt me. Unfortunately, that's how it works. I can only make something like that every once in a while. It's a rough game. That's how it is. That's not true. PNY 1660s have been on Best Buy for weeks at $5.50. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. JViz, thank you so much for the $5 once again. He says $5 for your Steam Deck. Get the Stream Deck. Get the XL. The OBS interaction is a complete game changer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into something like that. Get like a Stream Deck right on the side here, so I can like press a button and have all kinds of like audio sounds. Like there's just some classics. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys have heard this one before, but like when Vin Diesel was drunk during that interview, oh, he's just got some classics that came out from that. There's a bunch. There's so many I can think of that like you just press a button and that plays. Oh, that would be fantastic. These streams would really be getting off the rails then. But thank you so much for the $5. We've definitely blown past our goal. We are at 115% of the goal, baby. Woo! Let's see. Have you thought about starting a second channel? I actually do have a second channel. I was making like some little meme videos on it, and now I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I'll try and do some like gaming like news on it or something. I'm not sure about that. Though I'll have to consider it. It depends on how much extra time I got, you know. GPU price is going down at the retail sales gates, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, end of the year. Yeah, I've definitely noticed, but like prices are going down. It's just not as fast as we need them to. Should have a gaming channel. Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of maybe doing like gaming news on my second channel. I might do something like that. Because I know it seemed like most people wanted me to put it on this channel, but I'm just not sure it'd be a good fit, you know? So I don't want to split the viewer base. And I don't know if I'll be uploading a lot of that stuff either. I just might experiment around with it with if I have free time. So let's see, play Team Fortress 2. I've tried playing Team Fortress 2 and I can't get into it for some reason. So there you go. I forgot about Black Friday. Oh yeah, that's coming up in not too long. Oh man, they let you put that in the chat? That's outrageous. That's ridiculous. Let's see. Does your cat throw up on stuff you value as much as ours does? He every once in a while, one of my cats like gets sick. I don't know. He gets into stuff, you know. But usually he just like does it on hardwood or something, and it's really easy to clean up. So I don't have too much of a problem with that. Do you play GTA Online? Not really anymore. I used to, but not really anymore. Let's see. YouTube is definitely way less PC compared to Twitch. LMAO. Really? Yeah, well, I guess. Shrek says, wow, that is one edgy bloke. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that slips past YouTube's filters. You can post some wild stuff. You can post some real wild stuff in here. How do you get that in? I don't know, man. And you can the thing is you can do like a super chat and put some heinous stuff in there and it won't even catch. Like there's a lot of stuff it will not catch. And then everyone just sees it. God, yeah, you can really push the limit. Fingriff Gaming says, do you plan to answer my question? What was your question? How often do you answer Fingriff Gaming? I guess twice now. Bun backed if Biff you put B in Berry this is too many B's. It's completely unreadable. Yeah. Well, No, this is not unreadable. I can read it. You said, fun fact, if you put a B in front of every word, it's completely unreadable. So, yeah. Huh. Nice try. You really thought you could get me with that, huh? Let's see. Is the Asus Tough Dash 15.6-inch gaming laptop Intel 11th Gen i7, 12 gigabyte memory, Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, 512 gigabyte SSD worth it? I don't know what the price is, so I couldn't tell you that. You'd have to include the price. But we got another super chat coming in from Matthew McCartan. Thank you so much for the $5. He says, I have a 3900X with a 6800 XT, 32 gigabytes, 3600 CL16, playing at 3440 by 1440. Upgrade to 5950X or wait for Zen 3 with 3D cache? Honestly, at this point, I'll just wait for 3D cache because I think it's just going to slot in. And I feel like you'd be better off waiting. I don't think you're going to have too much problems with that CPU as it is right now anyway. Like, I don't think it's going to matter if you really upgrade to a 5950X. Might just be better off waiting. Oh, Fingriff Gaming says $1,150. Okay, I'll scroll back up and look at the specs again. But thank you again so much for the $5, Matthew. We are now at 120% of our stream goal, which that's pretty good. We're doing pretty good here, guys. We're at about 12% of our total goal. That's pretty good. I'll tell you that much. Making good progress. All right, so then he was asking about that laptop earlier. Let's see what we got going on here. Where is it? Oh, it's an i7, 16 gigs of memory, 3060, 512 gigabyte SSD for $1,150. It's not bad. It's not like a fantastic deal, but I wouldn't think, like, that's not a bad deal either. Because, I mean, and to be honest with you, I don't know, I think that's kind of worth it. Because right now, 3060s on eBay are like $800. And even if they drop, you see them for like $500. So, I don't know, that seems like a pretty decent deal. That's not bad. I don't know. I've considered like looking into like laptop reviews or something. Like I might buy one laptop that's really popular and review it or something if there's no reviews on it and see how it goes. Because I do a tech review here and there. People seem to enjoy that every now and then. But it depends on how well it does. Let's see. If I got a 7900 XT, would it be a good match for my 5950X? Yeah, I would. All right, this guy keeps posting like Chinese characters in here. Let me see if I can translate it. It must be important to him if he keeps asking. So let's see if I can translate that. Okay. All right, let's see. All right. Historically, they have written a paper demanding that Hong Kong will not fall into China until 2030. So what is Hong Kong now? There will be a paper in the United States and Canada in 2050. I bet there will be more countries in this paper, but that's not my opinion. Hong Kong did not fall to China in 2030, but sooner. So the rest of the 2050 agreement will end the same way. Canada became China. The United States became Russia by 2050. I don't know about the other stuff, but was it really supposed to? I thought it happened when it was supposed to, didn't it? Or did Hong Kong fall before it was supposed to? Which is a bit of a shame, in my opinion. I think things are going to get rough between U.S. and China relations if they try and go after Taiwan. I think things are like you might see a Cold War happen, which I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, that's, man, whew. If China goes after Taiwan, that is going to be real crazy. He's ranting about the melting point of steel and jet fuel. Listen, each time I say that in English, YouTube takes it down. Really? Oh, well, probably because it has like Hong Kong and China in there and stuff, and like China gets all freaked out about. I know China's like this. All these places belong to China, and then the U.S. is like, no, they don't, and so then it becomes like this really contentious point. So that's probably why YouTube pulls them down. So. Yeah, so that's the only concern I have is if China goes after Taiwan, because the U.S. is not going to like that. We're getting all of our silicon from Taiwan. That would be a huge security concern for the U.S. So I just don't. That would be a mess. I really, because they keep talking like they're going to invade Taiwan, and I'm like, please don't do this. Like we no, like. The China-U.S. relations are already bad. Let's not do this. So hopefully they don't try anything like that, because that would be an absolute mess. Let's see. If China attacks Taiwan, the U.S. has an agreement that it will fight for Taiwan. Good. To be honest with you, good. I think it would be a huge mistake if Taiwan if it became part of China. It would destroy our silicon production too. So if you're someone who wants a graphics card, China takes over Taiwan, good luck. So it's a good thing that the U.S. is like, no, you're not doing this. But hopefully that doesn't cause some sort of conflict. That's the only concern there. Let's see. If that happens, you might get drafted. Oh, Jesus. That's, yeah, that's right. We still have a draft. No, you're not going to, guys, you're not, let me tell you something. You're not going to get drafted. You're never getting drafted again. And you want to know why? Because we just use robots now and stuff. So don't worry about that. China has 1.3 billion people. Where are their PC gamers? Oh yeah, they're like limiting gaming and stuff in China now. They're doing some real crazy stuff over there. Yakov says they have 1 billion people. You're getting drafted. No, there's not going to be a land war anymore. We're not doing land wars. It's not happening. Don't worry about that. Nobody's getting drafted anytime soon. All right. In a worst case scenario, it would just be two people in different countries threatening each other for a while and having a trade embargo, and it would just suck. That's what would happen, and it would be really annoying. So hopefully everyone can just get along, and then everyone can go about their own business and not be invading each other. No, thank you. And then we got another super chat coming in from Sergeant Amos. Thank you so much for the $10. He says, which do you think is better value for 4K gaming? 11900K or 10900K? 10900K is much better value. I'll just tell you that straight up. But thank you so much for the $10. We're actually at 126% of our goal. We smashed it, baby. We smashed that like button. We beat the bejesus out of it. Not the like button. Out of the super chat goal. Woo! Let's see. But enough about Taiwan. The only you know why I like Taiwan? Because they produce great silicon for our graphics cards. That's what I think. So I want, the other thing though, real quick though, I think Taiwan's making some manufacturing plants in the U.S. So that would be that'd be pretty good if they can get a bunch of built over here. I think they're building a smaller one over here that's going to be I think it's like TSMC 7 nanometer, and they're going to keep 5 nanometer in Taiwan. But if they can move more plants into the U.S., I think that's good because it just reduces shipping costs for U.S. customers. More silicon, more graphics cards, more CPUs, better chance for you to get better prices on your graphics cards. So I'm liking that. What are your honest thoughts on the 3060? It's been proven in several different environments to be near the value of the 3060 Ti. I don't really like the 3060. I like that it's 12 gigabytes. but I don't think it's as fast as it should have been. I don't like that they cut it down as much as they did, and I think it's too expensive. That's my opinion on it. Let's see. If you pick a CPU for under $200, what would it be? Probably like an i3 or i5 that's older. I'd probably do something like that. Like if you can get a 4-core 8-thread or 6-core 12-thread for under 200, that's awesome. Unfortunately, AMD doesn't have a lot of good options that are budget anymore. They've like totally abandoned budget. It's really frustrating. Let's see. 12 gigabytes is awesome when I code AI. I always run out of VRAM. 3060 is great for coders. Yeah, there's some workloads where the 3060 is like a really great option. Let's see. 3060 should have 6 or 8 and made it a faster GPU. Well, they couldn't have done that. They couldn't have done 8. They could have done 6, and I think that would have been a mistake. 6 gigabytes, I would have hated it. So it needed to be 8 or 12, and they went with 12, and that's fine. What are your thoughts on the EVGA Elite program to get a 30 series GPU? The only thing I know is that if you're an EVGA Elite member, you get early access to their queues. It didn't really help a lot. It seemed like everyone just became an Elite member all of a sudden. So, yeah. How good is the Ryzen 5600G compared to the 5600X as a CPU? I think it's a little bit slower, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. I think it has like less cache and slower clocks, but I could be wrong in that. I could be wrong. Thoughts on Alder Lake? I think it'll be a reasonable performance uplift. It won't blow your mind. It'll be good. But unfortunately, 10 nanometer. I'll tell you guys this much. I know that 10 nanometer on Intel right now isn't the greatest. It's at a point now where they can use it, and it's better than the 14 for sure. But it's not mind blowing in terms of how good the quality of the silicon that's coming out. So you'll see a decent uplift. I think the exciting thing for me is DDR5 and PCIe 5. So that's more of the platform. We got another super chat coming in from Toxic Noxic. Thank you so much for the $5 once again. He says, how to join Discord. Okay, so actually, during the stream, not only if you do a super chat is that going towards the 4K upgrade, which thank you everyone so much. We're actually at 131% of our goal for the stream tonight, which is 13% of the total goal. So that is awesome. Thank you everyone so much. But on top of that, if you do a super chat, you also get access to the private Discord. So if you want access, get a hold of me via Twitter or my email after I end the live stream, and I'll get you that link. Now, typically within 24 hours, I'll get it back to you. So let's see. Would a 2080 be a good buy now and wait for next gen? If you can get it for a good price, yes. It really comes down to the price. Perpington said, I only gamer. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. The reason I am upset about price jumps is because I was a PC gamer my whole life, never owned any consoles. While the 5700 XT was $400, here it was $500 to $700 store prices, and I basically never be a high-end gamer. Yeah, prices are going up. It's just, it has been. They keep trying to push prices every gen. They've been doing it for a long time, and it's a bit of a shame, but if people keep buying them, it's, what are you going to do, I guess? I don't know. Last I saw, you can get a 2070 for $500 on Amazon. That's not worth it. Why'd you start doing YouTube? Because I like it. That's why I started doing it. It's a lot of work. It can be very stressful at times, but I like doing it, so there you go. Sooner or later, if this keeps up, PC gaming will only be for the rich. No, Nvidia is smart enough to, they know they need to get GPUs for every type of customer. They're just going to push the very high end higher and higher and higher and higher. But if we can continue to get good uplifts at the mid tier, that's good. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what you're going to see next generation. You'll see like a 4060 potentially be a 50% uplift over 3070. You could see something like that, or a 3060 Ti, which is wild to think about. You see something crazy like that. Maybe not 50% on the 60 class. Maybe it'll only be 30% faster than a 70 class. But like a 4070 will probably be 50% faster than a 3080. And that's, you could be talking same price. So for the same price, you're getting a massive uplift in performance again. That, at the end of the day, that's what matters. They can call it whatever they want, as long as they're giving you the performance at a reasonable price. So that's my thoughts on that. I sent you an email. Check it tomorrow. You can check it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see if I can get back to you tonight. Sometimes after stream, I got to do a bunch of stuff, but I'll be able to send that link tonight or tomorrow morning. I'll send that over. Let's see. Do you think RTX 3000 super stock will be better than RTX 3000 stock? If mining dies down by then, which it sounds like it probably will, then yes. So I'm fine with U.S. prices, but prices here are almost twice as expensive. Where are you that they're so expensive? 6800 XT in stores, $2,100. That's outrageous. This is outrageous. This is unfair. How could they try and sell us graphics cards for 2 times their MSRP? They're holding them back. Let's see. So the 3090 for the Win 3 is still better. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. 1 year, according to leaks on this channel. I don't know what you're talking about either. Let's see. Serbia, Eastern Europe. Really? They're that expensive in Serbia? I wouldn't expect that. That's wild. Can you buy it from a country near you and have it imported? I mean, how bad is your import tax? That seems a little outrageous. Have you heard of the AMD Athlon T-Bred B1400, a $25 processor that's overclocked from 1.4 gigahertz to 3.4 gigahertz on air and no voltage change? That's insane. Is it AM4? And is it like quad core, dual core? What is it? Custom fees are insane. Yeah, I'd imagine. So you get a 30% fee, basically. Actually, more than that when you do times 1.1 and then times 1.2. It's probably like 35% or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty wild fees. Oh, man, that's, yeah. That's expensive. That's expensive. UGA RTX 3090 for the Win 3 is still better than the 40 series they're bringing out? No. No, definitely not. The 4080 is going to crush the 3090 by a large margin. I'll tell you that much. Also, the 3090 for the Win 3 has a long history of problems, like since it was released. A lot of forums. I think they have finally fixed the issues with it, but you might want to check, like if you're buying one of those, you might want to check when it was like produced, if you can, because some of those early ones, there was a big failure rate. At least it seemed like it based on comments that were on. I mean, there's all kinds of forum posts all over the internet. It's crazy. Let's see. But in any case, we are like way past when I was going to end this thing. So I think I'll answer a couple more. If you got pressing questions, get them in here. And then over the next couple of minutes, I'll read those off and then we'll wrap up the stream. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Again, we blasted past our goal. That was super awesome. Hey, in not too many weeks, might be upgrading to a 4K camera. Get you guys that better quality, baby. Woo! Let's see. Was the 3090 the GPU getting bricked? Specifically the for the Win 3 Ultra. Yep, the 3090 for the Win 3 Ultra was having a lot of issues, but that card had lots of reports of issues before that game ever hit. It just, there was a big failure rate on it for some reason. I don't think we ever got the numbers of what the actual failure rate was, and I'm sure it wasn't like anything crazy. I'm sure it wasn't like 50% or something like that, but it's more than should have been. there seemed to be a lot of complaints about that specific card from EVGA Online. I saw a lot of complaints about it. All right, what do you think will be the difference between 3080 Super and 3080 Ti? Basically nothing. I mean, there's already basically nothing. There's like 8% as it is. Maybe 6% in the difference. Something like that. EVGA VRAM problem altogether. XC3 gaming goes up to 100C. Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of EVGA cards with high VRAM temps. Like the XC3 doesn't do a good job of cooling. And then even the hybrid card will hit very high VRAM temps. So, I don't know. They need to use different thermal pads or something. At least on those two cards, it seems like. The XC3 is just also a cheap cooler. They need a bigger cooler on that thing. Let's see. What's the Angel graphics card? I have honestly no idea what you're talking about. But in any case, I think I'll answer one or two more questions here, and then we'll wrap this up. So if you got something really important to put in right now, here's your last chance, and then I'll be wrapping it up, baby. Does a hybrid card still have thermal pads to replace or no because it's water-cooled? I think you can replace them if you want. But that's all I know. So is RDNA 3 on par with RTX 4000 series or not? Yeah, it'll be on par. It could actually even be faster. So we'll see, but it's possible it could even be faster. Will RTX 40 series come with PCIe 5? Probably not. It could. They might, but I don't think they will. There's probably about a 30% chance you'll see it. Not great. You definitely don't need PCIe 5, I'll tell you that much. And that's the only reason why I'm thinking they might not do it yet. They might wait for like 50 series to roll it out. I think by the 50 series, you'll definitely see it. But that's about it. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Awesome stream. We got past our goal. That was super awesome. And hopefully, in about a month or so, I'll be upgrading to a 4K camera, and we can get to even better camera quality, so that should hopefully be something to look forward to. But in any case, oh, someone just put something heinous in the chat. In any case, thank you everyone so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next stream, which, by the way, I think I'll bring these back. I'll try and do them weekly again. Expect to see stream every other week for sure, but I might start doing them every week again as well, depending on what's going on my weekends. I've been very, very busy over the last couple weeks, so for sure, expect streams every other weekend, possibly every week. But in any case, thank you everyone so much for watching. Well, we got one more quick super chat in real quick. Thanks so much for the $5. 20 A. Lopez. He says, keep it up. All right, thank you so much. By the way, I should probably mention this real quick before we close out the stream. First of all, 13.6% all to the end goal. That's super awesome. So thank you everyone so much today for doing super chats. The second thing is, I just set up not super chats. I just set up memberships on my channel. So what I'm thinking is, if I start doing streams every week again, because right now we're doing every other week, but I'm thinking of doing every week again. If we start doing that, I'm going to advertise memberships. Memberships give you all kinds of access to like emotes and stuff you can do in the streams. I'll probably start doing events during the streams. We'll get the streams going, you know. We'll really start getting them going, baby. But that's, yeah, so if you want to be a member, that should be enabled on my channel now. I'll go double check real quick to make sure it is, but that's a good way to support if you don't want to do it through Patreon or something. So that's a better way of doing that. But I know people were asking me about that for a while, and I just wasn't getting it done. So I finally, over the weekend, just like banged it out and got it all set up. It's got all the, you know, the special images and stuff that you get for doing memberships and stuff. So if you're interested in that, that's an option. If you're not, hey, that's totally cool. It's just for those of you who are asking me about it. But in any case, we got another super chat coming in real quick from Cole Cousins. He says, do a quick spin. All right, I'll do one real quick before we log out here. There you go. Hopefully that was what you're looking for. But Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Thank you for the super chats. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. So, yeah. Bye, guys.